We stand tall, defenders of cardboard, ready for the call.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Stream of Card Consciousness. I am Mark Ford, and as always, joined by my friend and my brother up in the Panhandle, Greg Smith. How you doing today, Greg?
I am relaxed. I am exulting in a nice long Red Sox hot streak. So we'll see if that can carry over into the. I'm gonna. This is my Pedro jersey. We'll see if that can carry over into the playoffs if we make the playoffs. So we'll see what happens. But for right now, the sweep of the Dodgers is beautiful and
Absolutely.
just trying to withstand the heat. And I'm curious to hear how you're doing going back to school tomorrow. We'll see. We'll get some thoughts on that from you. But yeah, I'm doing great. How are you doing, Mark?
I'm good, doing good. Got a few cards of the week. On the subject of school, Andrew Travada sent me a nice care package for room 4. That's going to take some getting used to, room 4, and
Right.
with some cards that I'll put in a room and probably give some to the kids. And then there's a couple things he sent me. So, and that's part of my cards of the week as well.
So let me ask you this: Room 4. So I'm familiar with Room 6. Now, Room 4, is that more like an administrative office, or is it the same type of room that you were in?
I wish it was an administrative office and I could hide all day. No, it's just a little small room. It's right by entry. And
Okay.
they come in the back there by the metal detector and all that stuff. So, and I got a window finally, so that's really great because I've spent most of my life outside and between coaching and owning my business and running a golf course and a tree farm and all that nonsense. So that's the only classroom with the windows. So that'll be nice when I get a little anxious and ready to flip out. I can look out the window and see God's creation.
Right, right. Now, knowing the layout, knowing where that school's at, hopefully you'll be able to see some greenery, out that window. So we'll see. But it'll be nice for me. And I think I've said this before, but I won't have to go as far to see you when I visit. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
There's a patch of grass out there
Is
that
there?
runs along the whole back of the thing, and it's thin. But I had a thought. I don't know if this is going to work. My boss doesn't know yet, but we tried soccer and we just couldn't pull it together with field rental. But I'm thinking like girls flag football. I think we
Okay.
could get a pretty good girls flag football team there, and I've coached girls flag football as well. So I'm hoping that we can get something like that and maybe play the other schools in the system. And we don't need a lot for that. We can shoot. We can do it in the back parking lot if we have to. Just have speed and run some routes and stuff like
Right.
that.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great idea. And I think you're right. I think y'all would probably be pretty competitive,
Yeah, there's some
so
athletes there, believe it or not.
oh yeah, yeah. You can tell. So, well, I'm wishing you luck. We need some pictures or something, as much as you can legally
Yeah,
share.
definitely. Yeah, I've toned my social media down a little bit, but yeah, I'll
Right.
definitely once I get the room all set up and decorated to my liking, I'll definitely share some pictures.
Cool. Cool. Well, let's see what you have for cards of the week, Mark. Let's get into that,
Okay,
and
cards of the week.
we'll rip.
So Andrew, he sent a whole big box of stuff, and there's some really great Star Wars cards in there. And this is one of my favorite cards. It's actually it's Boba Fett and Darth Vader. It's from the Burger King, and I love that card. And it's really cool. The meeting of evil there, Boba Fett and Darth Vader. So I really love that. I got Lando in the background, but that's just a great card. I'm really grateful to Andrew for that. And also, he sent us a pack of Kiss cards to open up. So Andrew's
Hell yeah.
hitting all the bases. So we're really happy for that. So I'm gonna open that right now and see what we got. So we got our Kiss cards.
Now, let's
I think these are a cornerstone from like 1996, 97 when they did the reunion tour.
was that the first? No, the '80s was when they first went
80s,
without the camera.
yeah.
Okay.
These are really cool. So there's Kiss. Got this really wow, this is a great card. I absolutely love this. Look at this Ace Frehley.
Nice.
That
That
is
is a good
dynamite.
card. That
Peter,
captures the essence of Ace Frehley
yeah,
like
Ace is
perfectly.
something else. Peter Criss, that's the album cover from the solo albums.
No,
We
all
go
right.
out.
So let's do a little
Okay.
Kiss deep dive for a second.
Sure.
So they each came out with a solo album in the
It's
late
78.
70s, right?
Yeah, 1978.
Okay, what was the purpose of that? Just to kind of capitalize,
That
or
was unfortunately for Kiss, that was when they were starting on their decline. Like we've talked before about what a meteor Kiss was, but it was
yeah,
only a couple years. So they put the solo albums out and they really didn't do good other than Ace Frehley's album did killer, is it Back in the New York Groove and a bunch of other great stuff on there. So Ace's solo album did really good.
nice,
And the other ones kind of flopped out. And then, that's pretty much the end of Kiss Mania anyways. So
right,
but there's another ace,
right
and
on.
we got another kiss, right there. That's cool. And we got more kiss. This was Eric Carr. So
Okay,
R.I.P. Eric Carr.
did he
So
get cancer or something?
yeah, he died. He had cancer. It was
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah,
So
that was really bad. I remember that.
and then we got another Ace Frehley. That would be that was towards the end of his time there. Another Ace Frehley. So this is an Ace Frehley hot pack, and he was my favorite. So God bless Andrew, because look at this with all the guitars. So
Wow,
yeah, so that was an amazing, amazing pack of cards, Andrew. I really appreciate it. Got all those Ace Frehleys, and I'll put them on my PC for sure. That's
that's very
outstanding.
cool.
All right,
That should
and
have said
then
Ace Frehley Hot
go.
Pack on the front of that, man.
Yeah,
That would
hot
have
pack,
snapped
Ace Frehley hot pack is crazy. So, but then no, there's been a lot of wild things in the hobby this week, kind of coinciding with the national, and just people proclaiming themselves gods, and just some really wild stuff out there. And then there's always mayhem in these card groups, and
Oh
but at
yeah,
the end of the day, for me, my interest in baseball cards and all that's on the wane. But there's still a few things that I like. And at the end of the day, it's about people, it's about family, and we've built a great group in our group on Facebook and then through the show, and a lot of people that to be blown honestly give a shit, and really care about what we do and the interaction with people. But like for me, I was going through some stuff, trying to find some pictures. So this summer was kind of dedicated to finding my equilibrium, so to speak.
right,
And my
right.
daughter Shasta, we played so much golf and hung out and did things. And I once saw my daughter up in DC, and even Dr. Ford got out and played golf. And then my daughter Harley, we did all kinds of stuff. So we had a really good time with family. But for me, I think most people probably our age may have some of these around, and but it's just my kid.
Yeah, yeah. The
So
I've
that's
got a couple of
Shasta, and that's her
yeah.
at 6 years old playing soccer. She spent more
What
time.
does it say on the back? Does she have a nickname or anything cool on the back?
No, just position, all that stuff,
Yeah.
and hand wrote in and stuff like
Okay.
that. But she'd rather pick the flowers than play soccer. But she actually is a great athlete. One of my great regrets of moving to Florida was that she had played softball and field hockey, and she was really, really good. When you get down to Florida, they don't have field hockey, and softball's a whole nother animal. But we found golf, and I'll put a couple pictures of her, me playing golf in here in the show. And she's a really pretty good golfer, and so it's something that she enjoys. But there, she even played football.
Nice.
She
What-
loved football. She loved baseball. She played baseball for daddy. And
Okay.
yeah, I took this team in West Valley, New York, and they hadn't won a game the year before, and they were traditionally terrible. So I coached that team like I run my classroom, pretty wild. And Shasta was my second baseman, and we ended up going 8-4. We made the championship game. And there's one team, the Springfield Dodgers, we just could not beat. We would lose by like 1 run or 2 runs, but man, we would ride into these other towns, and we would just tear it up. And people were shocked, West Valley, and we would just put it on them. We'd have a
Yeah.
good time, and it was a big party, and we had fun. So yeah, so that was like my summer and hanging out with my kid. And that to me, that's what life should be about and a hobby should be about. When you see people proclaiming themselves gods, and what are you talking about, bro? It's just
Right.
like it's cardboard.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna expand my thoughts on that a little bit here in a minute, but it seems, just from what I've seen from you this summer, it's been kind of a renaissance for you, and that's great, man. Just spending some time enjoying the things, you've been traveling all over the place, and being able to spend that much time with your with your family and your kids is priceless, especially as we get older, man. I'm not gonna wax all philosophical about it, but you and I both know how important that is. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you were able to do that this summer, and watching it from afar, it just seemed like you were having a great time. So I hope
Yeah.
that can carry over into the
My
school year.
dogs too, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
it's I hung out with my dogs.
So,
You know,
all
that's the
right.
thing.
So,
There'll be a day, people, this is what I'm telling you about. And this is kind of like Mr. Ford, room four. This is how I talk with the kids. There'll come a time in your life where you'll wish you had another day to hang out with your dog or your kids. And when we're plugged, I say when we're plugged into the wall, at the end of our days, and we got tubes in us and wires or plugged in the wall, I can tell you what, Mr. Ford is not going to be wishing I had another day of work. I'm not going to be wishing I had another dollar. I'm not going to be wishing I had another Luke Skywalker or Ace Frehley or Hank Aaron or any of that shit. I'm telling you right now. I'm going to wish I had another day to hang out with my kids and my wife and you know, play with my dogs, and you know,
certainly.
that's what I'm going to remember. So the worst word in life is if is a
Yeah.
terrible word, so I'm trying to remove if out of the
Right.
equation.
Well, that's good. And I think this year will be good for you. Maybe a little less stress. Hopefully. We'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
yeah, this is the first time I'm going back where I'm good, let's go, I know what I need to do, and you know, I'm going to make some changes and you know, do things a little differently, and that's going to be good.
That's good. That's good. Well, I'm going to go through I've only got a couple. You know, I'll be the first one to say I've been a little remiss in on our show page on Facebook. I haven't really been as active as I used to be, and I'm gonna change that. And I've got some things coming. I've got a Grail card that I bought that's coming here in a week or so. So I'm super excited about that. But I got a couple of pickups. My Yaz deal. So I got a 1982 Brigham's Coca-Cola. You remember those cards?
Oh yeah.
The Brigham's Coke. I thought they were the coolest thing when I was 12. So I got an SGC7 Brigham's Coca-Cola Yastrzemski. So that's cool. That's number 129, I think. And then number 130 is a 2006 SP Legendary Cuts, 91 out of 199 Yastrzemski, an SGC 8. So it's just like a relic card. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. It's an upper deck, and it's got silver, and you know the back's cool. Congratulations, blah blah blah. So those are both very cool. Both really cheap if you think about it. Especially the relic card, it was like $20. So I mean, you know, anytime I can get a slab, you know, of a card for $20, I'm going to jump at that if it's something I don't have. So just a couple of additions for the Yasmanian Devil. So that's really what I have for cards of the week. I want to talk a little bit more about what we were talking about just in general. The first thing I want to touch on, Mark, how can you explain the Star Wars phenomenon? They have exploded in value. Like the Skywalker card, we approved one in our big group last week, and I think it did like $320 raw. Is that how do you explain that?
It's been
Do
nuts,
you have an
being that that's
explanation
one
for
of the
that?
things I primarily sell. I could say for myself, it's insanity. Like the sale I had last week, I had to go to the timestamp. And
Right, yeah.
it was nuts, man. And I think with the 50th anniversary coming up, and on too, it's kind of like an alternative for a while. And the same with Kiss. Kiss cards are doing not to the level of Star Wars, but you know, you get back in touch with when you were a kid, and plus with the 50th anniversary coming up, and for a while there, Star Wars, Kiss, those type of things were kind of like a hidden area
Yeah,
of card collecting, and now it's not so hidden anymore.
right.
And you know, so you could get things cheap and enjoy it, and you know, it's outside the realm of stick and ball. But yeah, that Skywalker is insanity, man. That rookie card, like
Right. Well, and
that goes, yeah, like even a PSA 1 is over $100. It's just nuts.
and your mantra since I've met you really is it's not about the money, but
Mhm.
what I would suggest maybe to you is when you find the Skywalkers in that, maybe not a dollar anymore.
Yeah, there'll be no more dollar Luke Skywalker rookie cards. You know,
Because then you
that
might get somebody to be like, man, you know, you got a $300 card there for a buck.
Yeah, I almost broke the internet with that one,
Yeah,
but I did it
you
on
did.
purpose. So that was my fun. I had a great time until everybody
I
started
know you did. I know you
sending me
did.
messages and telling me how stupid I was. But hey,
Well, what
I
was it
had I
worth at
had
the
like
time,
three of
though?
them. I had three of them. I think I ended up sending you one, right? You
You
got one
did,
for like
yeah,
$5.
right, yeah,
You,
you
you
did.
definitely you definitely have the value on that now.
No doubt. I think I actually gifted it to my future
Yeah,
son-in-law,
that's
but
right. I remember that. Yeah, right
if
on.
I did, I might have to rethink that, but we'll
Give
see.
me that back.
I don't even know if he knows where it is, where it's
It's
at.
crazy.
So
You better find it.
right,
Yeah, that's
right.
not.
So
But back then, so you're talking like 3, 4 years ago. I think like a nice raw one, that like $40, and
right.
one, yeah, little work corners or whatever, 20, $25. But like a really, nice one was like $40 tops. Now it's like you said, holy cow, over $300 for a nice raw Luke Skywalker rookie.
Well, and that's really what's happening all over the hobby. Just not so much even only Star Wars, but I'm just seeing crazy numbers for almost everything. Michael Jordan, oh my gosh! So
Yeah.
I don't really know what to attribute it to because there's not really any. You think it's nostalgia, or what do you think's driving
It's
this?
nostalgia, and then also too, people are probably investing. People that aren't like card collectors or not into it like we are decide that maybe those are better investments than stocks and things like that.
Yeah,
With
some
the market.
alternative investments.
Yeah,
That's a
could
good
be.
theory because I mean it's just you're seeing it across the landscape. It's crazy. And as far as the guy with the, let's give everybody a little bit of context. Now I'm not gonna drop any names, but there's a group that you're in that I'm not actually in because I've been blocked by that person. Um, I guess he went to the national and just proclaimed that he came back and he's like the amazing vintage, we're all we're all gods and we're all kings, and just the level of self-aggrandizing that this guy really displayed in his post was mind-boggling. So when you put that up there, I don't think a lot of people understood exactly what was happening. So basically what happened was this guy put up a post about how he went to the national, vintage is strong, which is great. It's good to say that, but everybody in this hobby, in this group, is kings, and we're all kings, and we're all gods, and blah blah blah. So it just hit me that this how much of a knuckle dragger this guy really is, and he just continues to prove how nuts he is. So anyway, I thought it was funny that you stumbled on that because that's just more of the same from that guy. So anyway,
Oh, it
you
was
know,
crazy. It was
yeah,
absolutely shocking to me that, um, you know, the guy proclaimed himself a god. And it's like,
yeah,
what? Dude,
yeah,
you're selling freaking baseball cards. I mean,
right. Well, that's one person that I really didn't. It wasn't a huge shock that he said that. So anyway, and then the guy the other night basically, he posts that I'm gonna have to yank my post down. This is a room full of jerks. And
yeah.
I was like, I had spent at least 45 minutes the night before trying to give him some tips and stuff about how to do a successful sale because he didn't have any idea. And then the next day, he doesn't follow any of it, and then just decides to call the group out. There's so much drama. The point is I'm trying to make is there's a lot of drama in these groups, and I do admit that sometimes I feed into it, just by replying to stupid comments. And I feel like maybe I should quit doing that because it just feeds the drama. So I'm going to stop doing that.
Well, it's
I'm making
interesting sometimes, sometimes, I don't know. I mean, it is entertaining.
well, that's part of it for me is it's entertaining to try to get into the minds of these people. And am I egging them on? I mean, you can make a case that I'm egging them on, but I also really genuinely want to figure out what makes people tick as a general rule. And sometimes I take that a little bit too far. So it could come across as having a bit of an ego, and I kind of really need to look at that. So
With the cards that he had too, from what I could see, there was nothing earth shattering in there. And $1
right,
card, $2 cards, things like that. I think sometimes people they just think that they're gonna make some mad money, and it's not the case when you're dealing with any Hall of Famer, unless it's the key rookie cards. This group was the 70s, 70s, 79. Yeah, unless you're running 71s, or you know you got the Yount rookie and the Brett rookie. I'm trying to
Right.
think of any other rookie cards in the 70s that are big bucks. You know,
Thurman Munson, you got,
Ozzie Smith center, Thurman
yeah,
Munson. There's not a lot. There's a handful. I'm sure I'm missing
Murray
some,
Molitor.
but
There's
yeah,
there's
even
eight or
Murray, you
10.
can pick up a nice Murray for $20.
Right.
Same thing with Molitor. Jack Morris, you can get for $2. I mean, so
Yeah.
that's the thing. I don't think that there's a lot of the rookie cards from the 70s. There's not a lot of ones that are going to really explode or be big bucks unless they're graded and they're at 8, 9, 10, something like that. But
Right. Well, yeah, that's kind of part of my question too. Is I was asking this guy, okay, are you auctioning these, or are you doing where they can claim them? And he would never really say, which was part of the reason why his post was confusing, is because you've got all these cars listed, but you're not telling anybody how to buy them. And that's what I said. I was like, man, you got to make this easy for buyers to do. And the way that you're doing it is making it impossible to figure out what you're doing. And he did not like that. So you can see the post he made the next day, and he removed himself from the group. So I don't know. Just the whole point is to drama, and I wish people would kind of dial back the drama a little bit. And again, myself included, I'm not going to feed into it anymore. I
well, it's
just
drama on your part. I don't really say much because generally those things go wrong. People get offended, and
right.
but you didn't do it publicly. It was privately, and that's how you handle it. I don't think I've seen you take people to task publicly. You're just trying to help them out, and that's the thing.
Well, this was actually public, and I removed it after he left the group. But it was a defense because I'm trying to help this guy. I don't have to do that, and it was a defense of the page itself because he's
Yeah.
like, this is a room full of jerks.
That's
What?
funny.
What are you talking about, man? So
There might
I
be a
just
few
wish.
jerks in there, but I mean,
Right.
overall, it's probably not a room full of jerks. I mean, you're trying to build that page up and
Right.
help it rebound. So you
Yeah.
don't people don't understand. This is the other thing. I think that people need to understand that the admins in these groups, you don't get paid. You don't get paid for it. You don't. And you're trying to make it good for everybody so that everybody has a good experience. You're not doing it to make money or to say, "Hey, I'm Greg Smith. I'm an admin of this, that, and the other thing. Look at me, and I'm the man." And that's not how we even do our show or anything like that. So you're just trying to make it good for everybody. So, and you don't get paid. People, they don't get paid. And I know Greg puts in a lot of time and a lot of hours as an admin on these pages. And I could say in that one, the 70 to 79, I've done a great job. It's coming up, it's growing, it's being run right. And the
Yeah.
worst thing somebody can have is a bad experience, because I've been in some pages and I just eject, because I've had a few bad experiences. I don't give second chances on things like that. I
Right.
don't. Yeah, I very rarely. There's only one person really. We had I burned their cards, but
Yeah.
we broke bread and we were like Gorbachev and Reagan, and we found common ground and we're good.
Yeah.
So that's how it is. Communication. It's a lost art. I don't think people know how to communicate. And if somebody has a dissenting opinion, we're not all supposed to be the same. It's okay to disagree as long as you do it
Right.
respectfully.
Yeah, and that's part of you're absolutely right. I think that's a lost art, is being able to accept sometimes if you're shown that the way you think isn't accurate or wrong, or
Right.
and I do think that that's one thing I am able to do better than most people nowadays, is if somebody gives me a reason that they think I'm wrong and I agree with it, and if it's valid, I'll be like, maybe they're right. Maybe I should stand down on this. But, you know, I don't know. It just being an admin is, you're right. We don't get paid. I think a lot of people think we do. And there are a couple groups that solicit donations and things like that, but I don't want any part of that. So it is a free volunteer army that we have, and I think people don't realize that. And kind of, being on these pages is a privilege. It's not a right. So if you're coming at us from a really acrimonious standpoint, probably just get removed rather than debated. I don't know. It just felt wrong to me the other night what I did, and I just wanted to make a statement on
Oh, the
that.
smartest guy in the room, too. That's
Yeah,
another uh, thing in America. I got to be the smartest guy in the room. Well, we're not
right,
always the smartest guy in the room. If
right,
I could go back to when I first started teaching, I would do stuff a lot different. I was hell on wheels. And, I took some advice and, watched and learned. And it's no different than with cards. When I first started selling cards, I was the same thing. I refined my craft, and now you see the packages I send out and how I do it and do my sales. And, that's
right.
you learn. You just don't walk into anything that you've never done before and know everything about it. Because I was a successful coach and, well, athletic director didn't go so good, but because I own a bit, it doesn't make me like God's gift to selling baseball cards. You
Right.
know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. And I think you're right. I think reading the room and kind of getting your feet wet is something everybody should do before they try to do anything. And that's the same for card groups. If you're coming in and you're trying to list stuff a day after you join, I waited 5 months,
Yeah.
and bought way more than I sold at first. So, give it some time, figure out what you're doing.
Well,
And
eBay is the same way now. I've had a couple bad experiences there on eBay recently, and they immediately go get defensive and start lashing out when they're the ones that
right,
made the mistake. Look, I was supposed to get 88 Empire Strikes Back cards, and I didn't. I got like
right. Did
20.
you get any of them?
No, I got the friggin' stupid cards that were in the picture, the 10 um 77s, the green ones. And then, I showed you the message I sent the guy. It was very calm and even keeled, and I'm not going to leave negative feedback, but in the future, you should be more descriptive. But I understand that as a buyer because that's how I do it on eBay. I look for the things that are, you roll the dice. You buy cards from non-card sellers, you look at a listing, you say, maybe something's in there that they're missing, or, so
Right.
I said, shame on me. I threw my line in the water and it didn't work out. But, you were also negligent in how you listed the cards. You know,
Yeah,
call me every name in the book, and
I
I'm
thought you were
horrible,
very nice in that
right?
message.
Horrible human and all that stuff, and
Right.
that's not the case at all. I just walked away, and that was it.
Yeah. Well, you were nicer about that situation than I would have been,
Twenty
especially.
bucks. Again, it's the shame on me. When I bought them, I said, I'm taking a throwing a dart at the board to see what happens here because the pitcher
Right.
wasn't eight. It was not 88. Just full disclosure. That's what I do. It wasn't 88 Empire Strikes Back cards. The pitcher was of those 77 Star Wars cards. And,
Yeah.
I thought that maybe that was just part of the lot. And I don't want to shake the tree too much. And they
Right.
came and the video's up on our YouTube as a short. My shock and dismay is Dr. Ford opened the box and 20 random cards came out.
Yeah, that sucks. Well, buyer beware on eBay, and if you're nice, expect a shitty response.
Yeah.
you know. So, I don't know. You got anything else you want to talk about today,
No, I'm
Mark?
good. I'm just really
Football.
bothered. Oh,
Football.
I have one thing too. Go ahead with football.
How you feeling about the Bills this year?
Again, Josh Allen is 9 or 10 wins. It's on the Josh Allen factor alone. They can't have the stub your toe games like they did with the Falcons and the Dolphins last year. If they take care of business, they're going to win 12, 13 games. It's just, they're going to score 30 points a game. That's what they do. The defense should be improved. So I think the bottom line is that they'll be fine and, 12, 13 wins and be in contention for the, home field, which they desperately need. I think the Patriots are going to fall back. I don't think they're very good. I
Yeah.
think that the Dolphins are going to be, sorry, Greg, but I think 5, 6 wins. I think the Jets could be dangerous and interesting, but they are the Jets. So that's a case of until they get over that hump, that they're still the Jets. But I think the Jets could be improved, 8, 9 wins, that type of thing. So I'm optimistic. And I'm looking forward to going to the games too, because I have season tickets. So
Nice. Well, yeah, I think it's your
And the
division a
fans are all
little.
mad because they're cracking down, no more table smashing in the Bills lots, and all kinds of stuff with the music, and you can't have fires on the ground. And it's like people they just put up a $2.5 billion stadium. What do you want? You think they're gonna let you just ruin it? And there's
Right.
so many auxiliary and satellite lots. Like we're around the corner.
Yeah.
Guy we went to school with bought a house and parked cars there. So we got parking and we can do whatever we want over there. So again, that's their right and it gets back to the whole thing we are talking about. People just lose their freaking minds. Look, that's their right. That's their property. They spent the money and they don't want you to ruin it.
All right. So I want to hear about table smashing. What are you talking about?
Oh, the Bills fans, the tables, the folding tables, and they
Yeah.
jump off the top of buses and cars and smash the tables. And,
Oh,
that's
wow.
kind of that. Yeah, it's been a thing for like 15 years or so, smashing the
Anybody ever
table.
get hurt?
Well, I'm sure, I've seen some videos and people that got pretty effed up, it looks like they didn't have a good day, but, they had all that liquid courage in them.
Oh,
So they
yeah.
probably didn't feel it until later if they're sitting in the emergency room.
Yeah.
And that's the other
I
thing too. Why would you waste your money and get all pissed up and hurt yourself?
Not my finest moment. I used to go to this bar in Orlando, and they had a 5 o'clock, left at 5 o'clock in the morning to go watch the Dolphins play the Raiders one Sunday from Orlando, and they've got a keg on the bus, and we're
Oof.
loading in at 5 o'clock. I didn't go into the game. I slept through the game.
Yeah, it
So be
happens.
careful.
Yeah, it happens. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever done that there. I've done that well, I've always managed to stay upright and be coherent, but
Yeah.
more with rock and music and concerts and things like that. Well, golf too at Bartow at the Muni, man. They got this drink called the Infusion.
Yeah.
Woo! Let me tell you what, man. But with that golf, man, I tell you, God bless Shasta, and I can't thank her enough because it's always been kind of a bitter pill for me. I ran a golf course in New York, and it's not there anymore. And I was a tournament coordinator at Eagle Creek Country Club, and that went well. But they told me, dude, you got to go be an athletic director and do your thing. And they threw a party for me when I left, which is amazing. But it's always been kind of negative because people say, like Uncle Rico and Napoleon Dynamite, I could throw that ball over the mountain, and if I hadn't
Yeah.
hurt my knee, and if, right, that word, if,
Right.
and I didn't have the money for Q school to go to Q school, and the guy I worked for, he ran a restaurant and owned the restaurant. I ran a restaurant, and he felt so bad that he couldn't help me get to Q school because he really thought I could play on the tour. So I kind of just gave up on it. And I'd go
Right.
out and play like once a year, twice a year. And, I shoot in the 80s, and people are like, wow, man, I don't need to play. So this summer I started playing. I think the first time out, I shot like an 81. And then last week, the last round of the summer with Shasta, I was one over. And
That's
it was really
outstanding, man.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really, really cool. And then my wife was there, Dr. Ford, and she's just like, Dad, wow. I says, all these years in, I still want to impress your mother.
Yeah. That's cool.
I'm not
That's
gonna. I was focused because that was my problem when I was young. I didn't care. I wasn't serious. I didn't care. I would tin cup. I was in this tournament and I went. I had a chance to get to a playoff and I freaking tin cupped it from like 150 out and I went at the pin and yeah, I hit the top of the pin and I didn't win and but whatever. I didn't so it was good. It was fun. So I wanted to impress Mrs. Ford and my kid and we had a good time. So yeah, I was one over. And
that's
I would have
great.
been even, but she got a little emotional on me on the last hole.
Yeah. Well, great summer, man. I'm glad that you've
So I
had this.
hooked my drive. But I
Well,
got a bogey. I salvaged the bogey. We had a great time and it was fun. So yeah, if anybody's ever in Central Florida, the Bartow Muni, the municipal, it's freaking kick ass. It is a
yeah,
good time. The
nice.
conditions are pretty good, but they got good drinks, good food, good people. It's a good time. So shout out to Bartow.
Absolutely. Well, did you hit on the last thing you wanted to talk about? You said you
Oh
had one more
yeah,
thing.
the our giveaway. I always neglect to do it on the show and then I do it afterwards. I always forget. So I have the 1951 Burke Ross again. So we give away some pretty good stuff on there. There's a Luke Easter last week. So a little Burke Ross, these don't grow on trees. And
Right.
so that's to David Dixon. David
Okay.
Dixon, he wins that. I'll put it on the page. So he gets the 1951 Burke Ross. It's Tommy Byrne, not exactly a legend, but hey, he's got a Burke Ross, so that's
Outstanding.
cool.
He was a decent enough pitcher for the Yankees, I believe.
Yeah,
So
it was all right. And it's not a bad. These things they came in a panel of two. So somebody with their scissor got a little carried away back in 1951, but otherwise it's pretty nice. So
cool.
thank you, David Dixon, for jumping in there and commenting. And he commented on God Man. I made a post about the guy proclaiming himself God. So
Nice.
That's great.
Well, everybody have a great week, and it's a good time. Good sports time right now. You got football getting ready to go. The Red Sox are doing great. If your team's doing bad, I'm sorry, but mine's not.
Our team's doing good. Go Red Sox. So.
Go Sox.
All right. Yep. All right, everybody. Have a great week. I'm back to school tomorrow. As always, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Country, we stand tall, defenders of cardboard, ready for the call. Mark hails from Buffalo with pride in his hue, red, white, and blue, just like the sky, so true. Memories of glory, that Orange Bowl night. Greg loves the Fins, man, it feels so right. Give us